He's so fancy, you already know. He's internet historian, and he's back again. I mean, it's been it's been a while. It's been approximately 5 months since he re-uploaded the man in cave video, which the fact that it went down originally was bullshit to begin with, but well, it's just you hate to see that happen, especially after all the work he put into it, just done away with just like that.
Yeah,
that's absolute nonsense. But
so
yeah,
I felt like that was probably one of his most ambitious seeming videos he's done so far.
Well, it was, dude.
It's definitely my favorite one he's done so far, besides the Costa Concordia, probably.
Yeah, there isn't really, like, there's nothing wrong with the video at all, but the fact that it got taken down, I'm just like, damn, I don't get why it was taken down. Maybe it was copyright reasons. Like, there was something that he included throughout the video that was quote unquote illegal for him to share without permission, and yeah, I just think it's...
no idea what that would have been.
Me neither, because I mean, IH is usually good about getting, like, finding royalty-free stuff to use online all the time. I mean, I don't get it. But he's back, and he has a new video. I Am Become Fancy Theater. So...
yeah, I asked Nate earlier today, he's like, oh, there's a new internet story, and I was like, oh, cool, like a regular video or like an incognito? And he's like, incognito. And I was like, yeah.
Well, I thought it was incognito.
I was like, I figured that, like, because it seems like we're only going to get one new video per year from him, and then he brings it up when we get down here, he's like, wait, it is the original channel. Like,
yeah. And
it's a main video, and I was just like, oh, nice.
Well, that's why it's so weird to me, because, you know, internet historian
I
just...
love both of them.
I do too. I do too. But it's just, we don't see OG internet historian release as much as incognito mode.
So it's like a more rare treat.
Yeah.
Get a regular video from him.
And I'm blown away, dude. I can't believe it. Here we are with with a new internet historian, and I guess we can just smile with joy and be happy that he's here again. So, I guess let's go ahead and check out what he has here with I Am Become Fancy Theater. So, let's check it out. Here we go. Oh.
Fix the audio first.
Yeah, I hadn't played anything down here, so...
By NordVPN.
There we go.
I wonder if all that's because of what happened before.
I wouldn't doubt it.
As I don't recall seeing that on his previous video.
Tisk, tisk. Look at you. Uncultured. Unsophisticated.
Damn right.
Middle class.
More lower class. Right?
And I'm teetering on the middle class.
No, don't speak. You'll just make me throw up. I'd say cover up with this dinner jacket, but I'm afraid that you'd get your head stuck in the sleeve and asphyxiate.
Help, I'm stuck.
Listen, lowball. Don't you want to be refined? Don't you want to be fancy?
Refined.
Like
yes,
what?
But I need
That's
money.
French. I don't expect you to know what it means, but I have some good news.
Yeah, it's French for me.
Before this financial year ends, I have decided to make a charitable deduction. It's you, champ. For you see,
You can have premarital sex.
There's virus. I have made several videos, though.
That's from
which
Jason
will
X.
show you how to bluff your way to the inner circles. Undetected. Yes. By the time the elites find out,
Neon Genesis Evangelion is psychological and intense.
it will be too late. I get you in, you eat all the hors d'oeuvres, and we get out. That's the plan. And let's begin your instruction with theater, the YouTube premium of upper society. And the first
Fair enough.
section, symphony.
The first period of performance, that's called Baroque, from 1600 to 1750.
Baroque. Huh. Much like how I am in real life. Baroque.
This featured Bach and Vivaldi. Now, there was also a guy named Giuseppe Tartini, and he was the best one of them all, because one evening he had a dream where the devil showed up and presented him with a deal. The devil would become his teacher and impart on him everything he knew about music. Yes, once Tartini had learnt everything he could, he handed over his violin.
I heard that.
And asked the devil to play. The devil played the greatest musical piece that Tartini had ever heard.
The Devil's Triad.
Tartini woke up with a gasp, and he tried to recreate what he had heard in the dream. And what he wrote down was his most famous piece, the best thing he had ever written. And he said, "This is shite compared to the original. This is
not the greatest song in the world, no. This is a tribute. Couldn't remember the greatest song in the world. This is a tribute."
Gosh, that's hilarious. That I think maybe that's what that song's based off of.
Maybe,
with this.
I don't know.
I'll have to ask Jack Black. I'm like, Jack Black, did you steal this idea from Trapini? And he's just gonna be like, "Cheese it!" And then he's just gonna like throw sand in my face and run away.
But not tribute.
Nay.
Yeah, but
Men rock hard.
Okay, sorry. We'll stop covering. Before we get copyright struck off of here. Don't copyright strike us, Jack Black.
Oh God!
Where you get the Tenacious D song from?
Although they claim is the devil went down to Georgia, which is the exact same story. Yeah, we can ask Charlie Daniels about that. Mm-hmm. Also, it'd be more accurate because Charlie Daniels plays the fiddle, aka violin, and basically just it's the same deal.
Named this piece "The Devil's Trill," and he claimed that the difference between his version and the version in the dream was so great that he would have smashed his violin and quit music forever had he not needed it for his job. Classical, 1750 to 1830.
Fair enough.
Mozart and Beethoven show up.
I never realized that Bach was before Mozart and Beethoven. For some reason, I always thought they were like in the same wheelhouse of stuff.
Well, they're part of the same like Central European composer class.
And I love Vivaldi. It says apparently I don't really care that much for classical. I like Baroque.
I
love Bach and Vivaldi. Mozart and Beethoven are still good, but I don't enjoy them as much as I enjoy Vivaldi. And
I don't know. I find both of them. I find both of them to be very much palatable. I mean, Mozart. The thing with Mozart is his level of work was very unappreciated at the time. They appreciated more him for being a prodigy, whereas his work, because of the upper class at that time, determining what was the best work, basically they just brushed it aside, being like, "Oh, instead, could you play this by memory?" And he could, because he was a prodigy. But then Beethoven, on the other hand, the power that comes from his composition. Everyone always talks about the fifth. The fifth, just the raw power of the fifth. Like the ninth, the 13th, which is the Ode to Joy, surprise symphony. And then, of course, the Moonlight Sonata, for release.
Moonlight Sonata is my favorite thing, Brian.
I would say it's up there for me, too. And once you get into the third movement of the friggin' Moonlight Sonata, and just that, they call that the Madman's composition because of just the complex nature of it. There have been people who've studied it to try and understand like how the composition came into being, and they've lost their fucking minds, literally. But anyway.
Now, Beethoven was famously known for going deaf. Once that happened, everyone told him that he should just quit music forever. But he just wouldn't hear it. Anyway, there's so much.
Jesus Christ.
That should not be as funny as
that joke. Wow, dude. Wow.
Much I could say.
So I've also heard a lot of people, like, I don't know if everybody agrees, but I've heard a lot of people be like, Beethoven's like one of the greatest composers of all time, like the greatest composer of all time. And I'm like, I think it goes exactly backwards from the way he showed them on screen. Beethoven is not quite as good as Mozart, who's not quite as good as Vivaldi, who's not quite as good as Bach. But that's just me. That's how
Fair enough.
Rate him. I'd rate Beethoven as like fourth.
Romantic era. Now that's when everybody started kissing, and it's my favorite. Great piece. Mwah. Oh, you played wonderfully too. Mwah. We also enjoyed listening. Mwah. Mwah, 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 mwah. All you need to know about this one is Chopin and Berlioz.
Oh God. Chopin. The thing with Chopin is like his compositions are. I'm not gonna say needlessly complex, but they definitely merit study, and they definitely merit like being regarded. Like his nocturnes are gorgeous. Although I would also say I don't know, is Debussy in this era? Because Debussy with what? Claude Debussy.
He said Debussy.
What a child. But his and we're moving on.
Berlioz, however, was not getting any kisses. He was relatably painfully single, living alone in Paris, the city of love. So here's how it started. He's there and he's in his early 20s, and he is looking for a new GF. So one day he attends a Shakespearean play. And on stage, he spots an actress, and he immediately falls in love with her. He wrote her many notes, confessing his love, but her DMs went unreplied. So he began writing a symphony about her. How can she ignore this? And also around this time, he started smoking a lot of opium, but don't worry about that.
As you do. This arm of this chair just assaulted me.
It did?
It just opened on its own, like not. I'm like.
Anyway, so he wrote this piece just for her. However, his DM still went unreplied. For several months, he started to get quite disheartened. Until he saw another girl. So he immediately fell in love with her instead, and he said, you know what? I'm going to change that symphony I wrote, so now it's about this other lady, and not about that ugly one that I didn't like anyway. This time, happily, she reciprocated,
So he was a
and they
hashtag
fell in
nice
love
guy.
and were set to marry. Suddenly, what the fuck? Phones haven't been invented yet. Yes, hello, I'm busy. Oh, Rome? To study? Absolutely, I'll catch the first flight out. So Berlioz went to Rome to study music. However, while he was away, he got some news.
Berlioz, I have to tell you something.
What's up?
Sacre bleu. Some other, more handsome musician swooped in and married his girl while he was in Rome, and they ran away together.
Well, that
Berlioz
sucks.
was furious, and he set his mind to solving the problem. I know what I'm going to do. I'm gonna murder her and her lover and her mom. And then I'm gonna do a self-murder. Alright, so this gets pretty elaborate. His idea is to dress up as a housemaid.
Huh?
He has bought both poison and 2 guns. Now he is going to sneak into the house of his ex-fiancée, and there...
That's cursed as fuck.
She and her mother will be sipping tea, which he has already poisoned.
Her mother's
Then
pretty
he will-
cursed looking as well, I have to say.
Yeah.
Pull off the clothing and reveal himself. Blam, blam, sad overture. So, he heads back home to Paris to do it. But while on his travels there, takes quite a while, he has to change carriages. And when he does that, he leaves the guns in one of the little cubbies. So he's lost all his weapons. What is he going to do now?
He's a pretty absent-minded dude, isn't he? It's like, oh shit, I forgot the guns.
He's like, well, that's that. I just offed my ex-fiancée and her mother. Off myself. Oh no!
Well,
Imagine just being a really old school carriage driver. And then you just start hearing behind you the carriage just like, oh no. Fuck! Shit! God damn it!
All of a sudden the carriage driver is just like,
Everything alright, sir?
no! Can we turn around? I'm sorry, sir, but I can't. It's like, fuck!
His leg on the stop is Genoa, and he decides, you know what? Let's just skip the murder and go straight to the finale. So he stops off in the port city of Genoa, and he's there at the side of the Mediterranean. He pauses for a moment, then he throws himself in. Now, some people see this whole thing happen, and they think he's had an accident, so they run in to try to save him. They pull him to the shore. He lived. So he has now reached his lowest point. He dejectedly continues home. He gets back to Paris, and he wallows around, feeling pretty sorry for himself. But he decides, you know what? I may as well do what I do best in times of trouble. Smoke a lot of opium. And while I do that, I shall write a symphony. Although I ain't gonna name it after that hoe who stole my heart. And so he went back to work. But here's the thing. It was the greatest piece he had ever written. And it premiered to a huge crowd. And you know what? It was a smash hit. #1 on iTunes. But then, and here's a bloody plot twist. Remember the first girl? Well, she attended that concert, and she realized that Berlioz was a genius. And then she wrote a letter to your boy saying how good your bloody symphony was, and sorry about not replying, I just put my phone down and got super busy or whatever. By the way, I love you. And so Berlioz goes, well, I love you too. And a year later, they were married.
Hey.
It's a beautiful moral of the story. See, fellas, don't jump in the Mediterranean. Anyway.
Also, don't jump the gun and kill your ex and her mother.
Mm-hmm.
A few years later, they got divorced. Because weirdly, he cheated on his wife with the housemaid.
Jesus wept.
Not that one, a different one. But then he married that housemaid. Hooray! But then when he died later on, for some reason, he gets buried with both of them. It's kind of
Weird.
What?
strange. But moving on to the Impressionist musicians. Now that's Claude
Debussy.
De-
Say it. Say it, you coward.
It wasn't just me.
Fuck off.
What now? Claude what? You know what? You'd better go to ad time.
Oh, shut up. Come on.
Alright guys, welcome back to the Nord Stream. Today we're playing Assassin's Creed 3. Chat, come on, chat. Hey, oh, everyone's spamming Nord in the chat. Whoa, new follower! Hey, welcome to the Dream Team Sub Cream. Thank you so much for great to see. Oh, unfollowed.
Oh.
Sorry, guys. The cleaners are here. Sorry, just ignore the mess. I haven't cleaned up these bottles yet. No, it's just tea. It's just tea. I stream for 10 hours a day, and it's like the algorithm is against me or something. How come everyone is watching Asmon's stream, and I'm not getting any new followers?
Because Asmon's been doing this shit for like 15 years or more.
Oh, not only that, but also Asmongold. The way he does it is, instead of doing it like this, instead he does it like that. Oh, wait, shit. I haven't adjusted the cameras yet.
All right.
So instead it's just us down here. It's just like, yeah. Anyway, that's how he does it, and people really like it when you show the majority of what you're looking at.
But also, literally, his channel was built off of a theme. He's played World of Warcraft like since World of Warcraft started.
Yeah.
And he is a World of Warcraft guy. He's like one of the World of Warcraft guys.
I give him credit on that, the fact that he stuck with World of Warcraft throughout everything.
Literally, the last thing I saw from him is reacting to BlizzCon 2023 and the new WoW Classic news. He's still with it. Like, anybody who can not get bored of playing the same game for that long has a market in terms of streaming.
Yeah.
Because you can make yourself one of those guys for that game if that's all you ever play, pretty much. I mean, he's played other stuff. He's played Dark Souls and stuff, but, like, he's a World of Warcraft dude, and he built a fan base off of it, and it works for him.
And the other thing, too, is just... I'm sorry, I just hate seeing his face in some of those reaction videos, because he's literally... He does the same thing. Like, yeah, he's like this, all he's like... And then he eventually does this, where he, like, his hand goes down, he's like... Yeah. I don't know, but here we are. One reaction.
He looks like he's like very confused by what's going on or something.
One reaction channel talking shit about another reaction channel. Go figure.
I'm really not talking shit about him. I think he's pretty cool, but
yeah, I'm cool with him for the most part.
He does make some goofy ass expressions sometimes. For sure.
Yes.
Playing the games. What more do you want me to do? Just a quick word from the sponsor. NordVPN is the VPN that you can trust. So go to nordvpn.com/internethistorian for a huge deal on a 2-year plan plus 4 bonus months.
Also, if your chat
for free,
looks like that,
plus a 30-day money-back guarantee.
You're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Today we are going to be watching the new Snow White movie. I love the intro. Oh, I love seeing that Disney logo. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Guys, I'm just gonna get up and get some food. I'll be back in a minute.
While I was pulling an XQC and Hassan and Pokimane and basically
everyone who gets up and leaves the content running.
Yes, which is bullshit. Also, wait a second. Is this? Oh, right.
You just saved to report a server violation of return service community guidelines carried as a result of enforcement action. Okay.
Bye.
What the f***? Who reported my stream?
Is he gonna be on Kick now?
Hello, my Nordlings. Welcome back to the stream. Can we get some ends in the chat, guys? No, not like that. Mods! Mom!
Mom!
The ASMR stream for NordVPN. Today I'm going to be drinking a can of Coke while I say the word Nord. Nord.
Oh, I hate that.
Hey, thank you for the tier 3 sub. With NordVPN, I can be outside my house, Jack's Film's house, Samito.
God dang. That call out. Jesus, man.
House. house. Ordinary things house. Just like that. Welcome back to the hot tub stream. What do you guys mean? How many hot dogs can I put in my mouth? Why? I'll just... Oh my god, $5,000 donation. Thank you so much. You guys are such good friends. Streaming's not for me. I'd rather go to nordvpn.com/internethistorian to get a huge deal on a 2-year plan, plus 4 months for free. And over.
Free?
Free? Uh-oh.
Watching Netflix, are you?
Not usually, no.
All tucked in with a 3-hour essay on Good Game Good, and here's why.
Fallout New Vegas is actually the only based Bethesda game.
Turn that off. I've got something for you much less enjoyable and far more expensive. We're going to the theater. Theater, from the ancient Greek, theatron. The most dramatic of the Transformers. It means a place for viewing. The Roman theatre, they were quite simple back then. You have the stage, the auditorium, and the vomitorium. Now, for a very long time, people thought that the vomitorium was a place where the Romans would gorge themselves, where they would eat so much that they would throw up, and then gorge themselves again because they were so decadent and or bulimic. But it comes from the word vomir, which means to spew forth, because that's where people go in and out. So vomitorium is just a dramatic way of saying the entrance. Now, if you skip forward to the 1800s, things are getting a lot more modernized. But they still didn't have electric, so they had what's called the limelight. And that's why they say, to be in the limelight, to be the star of the show. What they would do was take a piece of quicklime and heat it up super hot, which will naturally glow very bright. They would then take reflective mirrors and lenses to focus the beam, and they would use that as an early form of the spotlight.
Huh.
The limelight is not because it's green, but because it's made from quicklime. In the modern day, things are a lot more advanced, and they can do all sorts of cool shit with like lasers going into your eyeballs and all sorts of stuff.
Oh.
But it's not just the tech that's had an upgrade, it's the architecture as well. In
good reference to
Elizabethan
a terrible
times, they
movie.
had the yard, and you could get in here for about a penny apiece. And this is where all the poor people stood to watch the shows. It's like when you go to Oppenheimer and you end up with the worst seats in the IMAX.
Right in front of the screen where you have to watch the movie like this the whole time.
Except here's the thing about the performances back then. It was like getting front row seats for pennies. And do you know who had the worst seat in the house?
The richest people.
Royalty.
Yeah.
You know what spot they were given?
Very back and the very top.
No, they were given what was called the God position. The God position is a private box that is literally right above the stage. And it's like, they have to literally lean over just to see the fucking performance happening. And there's basically, they're given the position of the God seat because where they are the king / where they're the royalty, they are the emissaries for God. And, yeah.
IMAX theater, right? But thankfully, in modern times, we have fixed that
The orchestra
problem.
pit.
We kicked out all the poor people, and we sunk the floor down low, and put in an orchestra pit. Now, these things are usually 6 to 12 feet deep, so they're not obstructing the audience's view. But having a giant hole at the end of a stage is quite dangerous. So usually they put a big net there as well. And yet, a lot of people still get pitted.
That sucks.
You know the funniest one that I
But
imagine?
it still kind of makes me laugh.
So someone did an animation of it. It's just like with the Spider... You remember the Spider-Man Broadway play, right?
No.
There was a Spider-Man Broadway play, and there was, while during rehearsals, the orchestra was down there and everything, playing it up and everything, and then one of the stunt performers as Spider-Man is swinging through and everything, and he swings in, and his cable gives way, and he goes straight into the orchestra pit in the middle of them playing. And from what everyone said, it was like no 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 no.
Yeah. Just a whole bunch of horrible noises, probably. He probably took out 2 to 3 musicians at the very least.
I wouldn't doubt it for a second. Thankfully he only like sprained his back and I think he twisted his ankle. That was the worst of it.
Spider-Man doesn't kill people. Tell that to the dead musicians in the orchestra pit.
Oh my god. But you want to talk about just like an absolute train wreck of a show. The Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark is such a shit show. And the thing is, they made the story more needlessly complex than it needed to be. It's like, it's a Spider-Man show. Make it about Spider-Man and his pursuit of villains and all that. Instead, it's just like, oh, we need to have it about this existential dread that he feels, and then, you know, he has a dream about you know, the greater purpose of being a spider, and he sees the I forget her name, the like woman who he sees in his dreams, like the spider, I forget the damn woman's name, but she's supposedly supposed to be like a warlock that is like telling him his value of being Spider-Man and all, and like, why? That plot line was stupid when they did it in the TV show. Why would you make it one of the main plot points of the stage play?
Like a lot of people.
Yeah. Oh, good lord.
In 2011, during a production of The Sound of Music, one of the lead actresses fell into the orchestra pit and was left paralyzed from the waist down.
Oh, honey.
That sucks.
In 2009, a conductor, not a superconductor, just a regular one, fell 14 feet into the dark pit and broke 9 vertebrae and one. Mamma mia. And he fell on his pointy conducting thing. At the Bolshoi Theatre, a violinist died from his injuries after falling into the pit. This theatre is prone to all sorts of accidents, by the way. It's kind of cursed. But performers and musicians aren't the only ones falling into the pit. In 1988, an 82-year-old man fell from his balcony box seating all the way down into the pit during a performance of Macbeth. He died.
Yeah.
Very spooky. Even already dead people are getting pitted. In 2016, a man sprinkled his friend's ashes into the orchestra pit at the Met Theatre. This happened during the intermission, and it was a sort of tribute to a mentor of his.
Angela's Ashes, Ash Ketchum, Ashton Kutcher, Ash vs. Evil Dead, beloved friend and mentor.
But of course people went, "What the hell are you doing?" And he goes, "Oh, I don't know," and he flees the scene. Everyone's coughing and sneezing up dead guy, and people think, is this anthrax? What is this? So they call in the anti-terrorism police, and the whole show is cancelled for the rest of the evening.
Come on, really?
He was not charged, and he wrote an open letter of apology.
A quick intermission.
That seems like the kind of thing, though, you would want to get permission from the theater and the theater staff to do.
Yeah.
Ooh, fiddle TD. I am the trap master.
No, you're a knockoff of the Phantom of the Opera.
Not like that. Do not ask me to reveal my secrets, woman. I have dedicated my life to the mysteries of the theater. The theater. She has so many enigmatic traps. Let us start with the most simple, yet devious. The wall trap. It allows the actor to walk directly into the set piece. Where did he go? Nobody knows. Cast your eyes over here to the genie trap. Now the victim stands on this dumbwaiter, and a counterweight launches their hapless body up onto the stage. Fish! In the olden days, this circle of flaps would sometimes go on top, and then that would make the whole thing just one way. Now, back when they made this thing, they didn't have hydraulics. So instead, they'd have like 6 stagehands pulling as fast as they could. And sometimes it would go totally wonky, or it wouldn't open properly, or they'd only get about halfway through. well, I guess that's it. There's only 2. Wrong! This is the vampire trap. And if I want to come back up again, this is called the sunroof trap. Very cool. Watch out for the closing doors on this one. It managed to trap Spider-Man's foot back into production in 2000.
Ooh, that's right.
2013. Me and the Green Goblin.
That scream.
Spider-Man's foot back into production. 2013. Me and the Green Goblin. We collabed on this one. All right, there's one more. The Ghost Glide. What you do is stand on this slidey bit, and it ascends diagonally, which makes it look like he's coming out of the ground. But the ladies, they're yawning, they're going, ooh, short ghost. But then, 5 foot, 5'1", 5'2", all the ladies are turning their heads now. 5'3", 5'4", 5'5". All the ladies are loving it. Now, I bet you're wondering, what happens to the actors when they go down these traps? Are they dead and gone forever?
Yes.
Yes, sometimes. In 1888, Frederick Federici was playing the role of Mephistopheles in Faust at the Princess Theatre in Melbourne. As he descended the trap at the end of the play, goodbye, everybody, goodbye. He had a heart attack and died. Never seen again. So as you can imagine,
What
with this many
timing.
dead,
Damn.
At least you got to finish the act, I guess.
the theater has become a highly haunted place. Oh yes. In fact, sometimes you can put your ear right up to the wall and you can hear 2 male ghosts wrestling. Can't fake that.
Wrestling.
Ghosts.
The glory hole.
Another ghost hole. Don't look inside. I did once. Almost went blind.
I was gonna say, you can get your eye poked out.
I wear the mask. Anyway, because of all the ghosts, the theaters do whatever they can to keep the spirits happy. See this? It's called a ghost light. When everything is closed, it is kept on always. Kept on for the ghosts, so that they don't, bump their shins in the dark or whatever. At the Palace Theatre in London.
I'm always gonna think, when I see like chairs and stuff move, and I always imagine like it's a ghost spirit just being like. No, I imagine them just being like, shit, damn it! They moved the chair my way again.
There's been some ghostly activity.
It seems to be a bit of a hotspot for ghostly activities.
And that's why they always keep 2 empty seats at the back, so that the ghosts may sit there and watch the show.
Fuck that.
That's why we traditionally kept a couple of seats off sale for the ghosts. However, Harry Potter is so popular that we sell those seats now.
Oh. Also, most theatres close for 1 day per week. And on those days, the ghosts are left to perform for each other in their own shows. Which they like, we think.
I was worried about my own vagina.
Shut up, Eileen.
Oh, finally, the vagina
A
monologues.
culture of other vaginas.
You know, I was...
Imagine me doing an entire, monologue, about my dick. Imagine me just sitting there and just being like, my relationship with it, it's really come in handy. I am terribly sorry for
wasn't always part of the elite. In fact, from a very young age, I grew up in an orphanage. No, my parents weren't dead. Rent in that building was just rubbish. My parents showed me no affection. And as soon as they could, they sent me off to boarding school. But boards were always their passion, not mine. I tried to run away, but they caught me. And boy, did they throw the book at me. Alas, I did not dodge in time. I spent the next few years in a coma.
In a comma?
A Native American town, Pueblo, Acoma. And the people there taught me how to read American. They also had a local library, and I spent my days buried in books, learning as much as I could about the arts. And once someone noticed me buried under those books, and they rescued me, I knew I wanted to teach default character presets like yourselves, all about Shakespeare. Editor's note, I started Googling Shakespeare and I got kind of distracted, so, I don't know, here's a WAV file. You can do something with this. Put him in like a classroom or something. Alright, attention, everybody, I am your new teacher. You are a bunch of troubled inner city youths. All you know is shoot gun, fail test, and crime. But I'm here to teach you that
freaking dangerous minds. It's been the most I life living in the gangster's paradise.
Actually, books and reading and stuff are actually pretty epic after all. Now, the earliest known written language is what, Mr. Single Parent Household? I don't know, Teach, but you're never gonna get through to me. Oh, really? Well, what if I go back in time? Back in time. In the long, long ago, very few could read. But to be fair, most of the written languages were kinda shit. This is cuneiform, the very first written language, and it has far too much punctuation. Then eventually came along the Egyptians, and they invented emojis, but they would call them hieroglyphs. Anyway, the typical written thing would go like this. Message for you, sir. Big bird, man with stick, man sitting, circle. Oh, more bills. Eventually that became quite annoying, so the Phoenicians, who were a kind of liberal...
Now the Phoenicians kick it down to business.
Very progressive, especially for those days. Now they came up with a better idea. They started going, hey, that sounds a bit like an A. Buh, that sounds a bit like a B. Kuh, and so on and so on, until we had a proto-form of the alphabet. Now, the Greeks thought that was pretty neato, but they said, let's come up with an even better version with 22 letters, and soon that will be like English.
Yeah, you're not getting through to them.
Oral history, Greeks more like geeks, got 'em. Oh yeah? Well, let me tell you about something highly related. Of the surviving Greek works, the greatest hits were the Iliad and the Odyssey. Now, because most people couldn't read...
Yeah.
Hey?
And then A and it, yeah.
Hey? This stuff wasn't written down for a very long time, and instead it was memorized and performed. And when they performed it, they used one of these, a lyre. Now, this was great for conveying tone, right? So, here's a soft bit, doo-doo-doo, but then this is a big dramatic bit, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Now, the Iliad starts with this guy, Menelaus, king of Sparta, and he has a wife, Helen, and she is a very fine lady. And then the Prince of Troy shows up. His name is Paris, and he goes, damn, shorty, awooga, awooga. Hey, that's what he'd say, right?
Yeah, that's what you kids are totally into. Looney Tunes references.
And he and his boys abduct her and took her all the way back to his crib in Troy. Now this makes Menelaus quite miffed.
That's Agamemnon.
Hey, hold on there, Buster.
He declares a...
That little nitpick there. That's Agamemnon. Because Menelaus was played by Brendan Gleason, and he just showed Brian Cox, who was playing Agamemnon in that. Sorry.
A turf war, but he can't win it alone, so he calls on his homies. Odysseus, king of Ithaca, and Achilles, the best drive-by shooter of all time.
Yeah, kind of.
But Achilles is not...
Yeah, that's true. That's what happened. I mean, that in terms of how we know history, Achilles had a beautiful maiden as a war prize, and Agamemnon basically forced her to be taken by him. Basically, this woman was taken originally by Achilles, and then Agamemnon was just like, no, I take this woman. And then Achilles is like, how dare you take this woman that I originally took? Shit's fucked up.
Not in the mood to fight. So the whole of the Iliad is basically spent trying to convince this guy to get involved.
Please?
No.
Please?
No.
Eventually, they win the turf war by being very sneaky. They make a giant horse, which is the symbol of Troy, and they leave it at the front gate. That's their way of saying, oh, I guess you win. We're walking away now. And meanwhile, thousands of soldiers go off and hide in some bushes. Now, the Trojans are very suspicious, but they can see that the Greek ships are actually sailing away into the horizon. So they know, no, it must be real. It must be.
Also, not only that, but they also left behind soldiers' dead bodies who had already died and made it look like they'd suffered from a plague of some kind. Like on the beach where they landed, which was over a crest so they couldn't see it 100%. And then they had, I think it was like 1/3 of their ships sailed back towards, across the Aegean Sea. And the rest of them were hiding off in a cove. And basically they had people on lookout to make sure, no one came along while they executed their plan of the Trojan horse.
Be real. We've won. We've won the many years' war. But actually, there's almost no one on those ships, and there's a surprise inside the horse. Later that night, when everyone's asleep, boiling hot tzatziki everywhere. And also some soldiers wearing thermal protection. They get out and they open the gates, and then everyone comes out of the bushes, running into the city and kill everyone.
And Troy was sacked.
After they win the war, Odysseus heads back home to Ithaca. However, on his way, he starts making beef with Poseidon, god of the sea. And Poseidon is mad at the disrespect, so he sends Odysseus on a long-ass detour, and that detour is the story of the Odyssey. Pretty epic, right, kids? Whoa, Teach, that's fire. I'm starting to come around. That Odysseus guy is literally me. Yeah, I'm gonna try that horse trick on my ops. Homer, from Homer's Odyssey, is not a character in the story. He's the guy who tells the story, and then people wrote it down. Now, moving chronologically to the next big one, you've got the Bible.
The Bible. This is the Bible.
For all practical purposes, this was basically an oral tradition too. Most people were illiterate by this point, and the Bible was written in Latin, and pretty much only the clergy knew Latin. So they would be the one to recite it to people.
It says that the cute lady at the front should go on a date with me, please. Listen, the rules are the rules. I didn't say it, the book did.
Yeah, isn't that amazing when the clergy has all the power because they're the only ones who can read Latin? Mm-hmm. And then it was when the King James Bible was translated, that was when there's like common English speakers and readers could understand the Bible and actually read the Bible and know what it says for themselves. That's also what gave rise to the skepticism of the Bible, because it was no longer held by just the people in power. It was for everybody to decide what they wanted to do.
There was a translated version into English, the Wycliffe's Bible, and you better believe that thing was a threat to the order. So they made that illegal to own.
What?
And if you were found with an unlicensed copy, the punishment would be death.
Yeah.
So it remained. The Bible was read to the people. Now, by the 1300s came Chaucer, who wrote the Canterbury Tales, and that was a pretty big deal.
Get this book now.
Because it's one of the first significant works written in Middle English. It describes a bunch of people making a pilgrimage from Southwark to Canterbury, which is here to here, which was the longest journey anyone had ever made.
2 separate classes
on the Canterbury Tales
where I had to supposedly read that fucking book and write an essay about it. I spark noted the shit out of both of those because that was the most boring fucking shit I've ever tried to read.
I will say this, there are some stories that are more entertaining than the others. The Tale of the Night is very boring. The Tale of the Friar is entertaining as hell. But, for the most part, it's just like, oh, we're on our way here. We might as well tell each other about ourselves.
In the 1300s. Now, it's a whole series of stories, and most of
Yep.
them can be
I've
boiled
literally
down.
written 2 essays on this book and couldn't tell you shit about it.
It basically,
I
instead
don't
of
remember anything that I did that.
basically, our teacher gave us the Canterbury Tales and gave each of us in class one of the stories to read. And at the end of it, I was reading that tale, we had to say whether or not the person was good or whether or not the person was bad. You know, what made them good, what made them bad, and, you know, basically the cliff notes of their stories.
To how come if everyone is on a pilgrimage, you're also focused on material stuff? Oh, hypocrites much? Dong. It's now the 1600s, and they've updated all the textbooks from Middle English to regular.
Yeah, it went from Anglo to Anglo-Norman. And by everything going Anglo-Norman, it basically gave us more modern English, what we have nowadays. Basically, because of Anglo-Norman, like the Anglo-Norman way of speaking, you can be thankful that you live in a home and not a ham. Because by Normanizing the vowels, it made it more presentable.
I would think
You know what?
a ham would start to smell real bad after a while.
Yeah, especially a ham that large.
Unless you live in like the North Pole on a ham.
Yeah.
Then you'd probably be alright, because it'll stay frozen.
King James I said, alright, you know what? Let's everyone have a copy of the Bible they can read. Let's do a King James Bible. I won't feature in it, but I'd love to be in the title. And he commissioned a committee of scholars to rewrite the thing in English. God's language.
In English.
It took 8 years. And that brings us to Shakespeare. And he's a huge deal. Oh, look, we're out of time. But sir, we're supposed to do penis inspection day today. No,
What?
There's no time. Roll the end card. The end. Alright, that's the lesson. You watched the whole video. Or at least you had it on in the background while you scrolled your phone.
No.
And I couldn't be prouder of you. There's just one more quick thing I want to tell you about. Theater props. For example, this gun. Now, the thing... Oh, look who it is.
Oh, no.
I know what you're thinking, but it's just an actor. We all know that the real Lincoln is dead. You know, when he fell asleep on the tracks of the Underground Railroad. Anyway, this thing is super realistic. Although the trigger is a little loose.
Well.
Ruh-roh.
Start running.
Oh, I can't believe you did that. But I won't tell anyone. And, in fact, good news. I'm gonna make you my little protege. And I will be your protozo. And I got...
You can hear him cracking up while saying that.
Yeah, he's like...
And I will be your protege.
So many more lessons to teach. Still here, huh? Yes, just a little cleaning. More good news. Next video is almost done. It'll be on incognito mode, and it's about the arts. Nice. And the next main channel video is also nearly done. That'll be out shortly after. If you're looking for more content in the meanwhile, we have another channel called Story Mode. The Metal Gear Solid and Forspoken videos are especially good. Don't forget NordVPN. Thank you for watching. More soon.
Okay. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That was the internet historian with fancy, becoming fancy I am become fancy theater. So yeah, I'm gonna leave a
I
like.
wonder if he's gonna continue on theater and talk about Shakespeare next time, or if he's gonna move on to a different subject.
I'm still mad that he didn't talk about Debussy. Yes, go ahead, chuck it up. Also, Debussy's like composition, Claire de Lune's one of my favorite piano pieces ever. Basically, it's just.
I never actually heard it until I played The Evil Within, and then I started noticing it everywhere after that.
Oh yeah. God, I am anything Internet Historian does, I'm gonna be just like all about. This was a welcome change of pace, and I know that he's probably got at least 3 or 4 videos ready to go for like the main channel and the incognito mode channel, just ready to go to release. And let's be fair, guys. Are any of us gonna even think about skipping out on this shit? Absolutely not. Like this is this is one of the main reasons why I love Internet Historians. Like it's just the level of detail he puts into these videos, and also
he's just one of the great comedians of our time, apparently.
Yes, I agree. I agree with that statement.
I like his re-uploaded whole thumbnails.
Yeah, re-uploaded whole. Also, people are still like convinced that this is back when we were doing our thumbnails that had the Renegade R on the side, and they were just like, "You put that R there on purpose, didn't you?" And I'm like, "Dude, look at all of our previous thumbnails. It's just serendipitous that it lined up like that. I did nothing.
It ended up on the re-uploaded. You mean?
No, it ended up on on whole. It turned it into, instead of whole, turned it into holler. Yeah, I'll show you. I mean, some people are still like upset about that. They're like, Manning Cave. Yeah, holler. Holler. Yeah, look at that. Also, Drew was with us for that one.
Yeah.
God, dude. That was September 30th. Yeah, that was last year.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh. So we are just getting one video a year from him.
Basically, yeah. September 30th, 2022.
Damn,
that was when
I thought that was this year sometimes, too.
I did, too. Oh, that's weird.
So literally one video a year from Internet Historian.
Seems that way.
Unless his part 2 comes out in like the end of December or something. And we'll have had 2.
Yeah. Well.
So it is a very rare treat when we get a video from him now that's not incognito.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway. That's going to do it, everybody. So that was, once again, that was Internet Historian with I Am Become Fancy Theater. So, if you want to see more from Internet Historian and you haven't checked out any of his previous stuff, what are you doing here? Go click his name in the title of the video. Go, right now, go. Shoo, you bother me. No, I'm joking. I love y'all. I mean, that I want y'all to keep coming back here, but I also really want you to check out more Internet Historian. The guy's amazing. He's easily one of the most talented creators here on this platform, and it's not even close. So,
if you're having a bad day, Internet Historian can probably help.
No doubt. No doubt about it. Well, anyway, that's going to do it. So until next time, I'm Nate.
I am Nick.
Y'all be good people. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.